Hey, I'm Vexian. I have over 2.5 billion long form views on YouTube, and I do 100 million views a month or more with my client portfolio currently, all long form. And one of the things that I'm going to kind of reveal a little bit of a secret on is how I cheat on YouTube to get more views consistently, and the 3 or 4 things that I do that other people might not do that you definitely should do because it'll definitely probably double your views or more. And that is what I like to call YouTube arbitrage. Now, what is YouTube arbitrage? Well, arbitrage, essentially you take like one thing that's like low and you can sell it for a higher price. You can make an arbitrage there, right? You can do some things, do some weird things. And one of the things you can do on YouTube, because YouTube is an entertainment product and potentially an education platform and whatever else you want to be, is that you can cheat by stealing the best from the best, right? You can literally steal from the best YouTubers on the planet and you can make a shit ton of views. I'm not talking about copying their ideas or copying their thumbnails, but copying their ideology and their psychology. And the reason why is that if I look at someone like Ryan Trahan, Mr. Beast, or let's say Ian Miller, who's like in the housing niche and whatnot, Mr. Beast who's in the entertainment niche, and Ryan Trahan who's entertainment by proxy of storytelling, is that I can cheat and I can be like, oh, like these guys are doing this. Why are they doing this? And I can copy what they're doing and why they're doing it. So for example, I'll bring something up, can't show all the client stuff, but I will show, let's say, Magnus Matimbo. I can show this. So Magnus, massive YouTuber, probably not as optimized as like, let's say some other people. It's still pretty optimized. And what you can do there is I can steal from Magnus in the sense that, okay, I know what's working. I know what thumbnail format works. I know kind of why it works. And I can reverse engineer that. Let's say Pro Climber Old Man, I can do that. And I can go to like, let's say Frankie C, who is a client of mine. Frankie C, who is a client of mine. And I can go here and I can go here. And I can go, where is it at? I can go here and I can figure out like the undercover stuff was good, right? I can steal. But more than that is you can steal from big YouTubers in the sense of like what's working in terms of thumbnails, in terms of titles, in terms of intros, in terms of story structure, in terms of editing. And I'm running out of fingers. I've flipped you off. I'm sorry. In terms of sound design, in terms of lighting design, in sort of props, in sort of character interactions. And there's like mesh of things that is a YouTube video, right? All the components of YouTube video, and you can steal that from YouTubers. You can figure out how they interact with each other, and you can improve upon it. You can iterate upon it, and you can change it. So I can't show this, but I work with a, let's say, a pretty big kids channel, right? That's all I can say, and I can effectively steal from other people by not making 1,000 videos in the niche, right? Like if I made 1,000 videos in the kids niche, I'd be pretty good. But instead I can break down 1,000 videos in the kids niche. And I'm not saying, hey, like you can do this to the same level. You can do it. You will get success out of it. It will help you out. It'll be a massive boon to your content creation because instead of going in blind, you can go in with an idea of what's supposed to happen. You can develop hypothesis and you can get results, or you could just straight up get results without even develop the hypothesis. You just figure it out, right? So I can be like, okay, like Mr. Beast, for example, I think at one point tested out his like mouth being open or closed. And he actually ended up finding that he had a higher CTR and higher watch time with his mouth being closed. Okay, that's interesting, right? For example, if I go to Alex Mosey, someone that I consume a lot of content of, and I kind of watch basically everything adjacent to him as well. If I go to Alex Mosey, one of the things that he did is he niched down really hard. I talk about that in audience segmentation and how you can use audience segmentation to your advantage a little bit. But one of the things that he did is he niched down super hard. And you're like, why did he niche down? If I was a business creator or I was a value driving creator, why did he niche down super hard? I can ask that question and I can be like, oh, and then eventually he just talks about it. And you can just copy that. You can just copy the reason why he niched down is because it was more profitable for him. So if you're mission is to get profitability through educational pieces of content that provide value to the viewer, where you implement the system that you're talking about, or you're selling some type of thing that you're talking about. If you provide all that free value and you find that niching down to your specific target audience makes the most amount of sense, you can just copy that rationale to your specific problem or your specific problem set. If I am in the real estate tour niche, I know that Ian's has the best real estate tours on YouTube. I've done the market research and I can figure that out. And then I can work backwards and I can steal. So I can figure out, okay, what are his most popular paddling formats, right? So like he does touring a lot, he does inside a lot, sometimes touring does better, sometimes it doesn't, right? There's kind of a fluctuation in views between millions and not millions. The length is the same, so I can roughly rule out the fact that like length is a factor on his channel. It's all like pretty like consistent plus or minus 5 minutes. In this case, it doesn't really matter. Okay, like the mega stuff does well, so like maybe I can do like that. I also know like he does all of his text at the top of the thumbnails in this white thin font. Why does he do that? Can I copy that? Okay, maybe I can't copy that specific text because obviously it's one-to-one copying it. Maybe that's what you want to do. If you want to like, kind of social hack viewers a little bit, besides the point. But if you wanted to like, maybe like the best way is to do text at the top of the thumbnail. For example, one thing that I might be able to allude to, I can't show it to you. But if I do, I will look up One Piece, for example. And I can kind of talk about something that I have seen. So if I look up Grand Line Review, not a client of mine, I have a client that is a competitor in the One Piece space. That's all I can say. Please ignore that. I can look that a consistent winning format in this niche is that there's text at the bottom of the thumbnail. So that's a little bit different. That's not necessarily what we see in most other spaces. It works quite well for Grand Line Review. And if I do like, let's say One Piece Void Century, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I believe, yeah, it's this guy right here, this guy. So if I go here, one of the things that I've seen work for him is that text at the bottom of the thumbnail again. So I have now 2 data points that text at the bottom of the thumbnail. I'm like, okay, why is that? And the reason why that is because it gives more room for character expression, for the main focal point of the thumbnail being a character primarily. Usually it is a character when it comes to the anime space, because that's what people care about. It's the stories about the people they're reading. So those are the things that are going to be most easily recognizable. And if I have text at the top, that means I have to have the head down. It looks weird in terms of body proportion, where the neck and the shoulders don't really line up that well. You have to make them smaller for making the proportions to make sense. But now, because it's smaller, it's going to be less recognizable. So with all this in mind, I can actually figure out, and I can make the hypothesis, which I do know to be roughly a fact at this point, based on my experience with the client I have in this niche, is that text at the bottom of thumbnails has increased our views via CTR and also watch time, because it's also easier to see what's going on. And if I can see what's going on, then it's going to be easier to achieve the click. And then also no text in thumbnails works as well. Now, sometimes also text at the top of the thumbnail works. If it's a 3-panel thumbnail, there are going to be exceptions to the rule, and there are different rules for different things because there are different content buckets and different channels. But in essence, you can copy and steal from YouTubers and get more views by taking what they have learned and applying it to yourself. These guys have made the 10,000 videos. They have the 10,000 hours of mastery, and they are telling you exactly what they're doing without telling you. By showing you through their content, whether it be editing, whether it be information, etc., you can figure out what makes the most amount of sense. So a while ago, we saw a lot of YouTubers subtitle their intros, and because they were doing that, and they were doing that because of the autoplay feature. A lot of people might not even know the autoplay feature affects CTR by click affirmation, where if I hover over, I can be like, oh, I don't know if it does it on PC. It might do it on PC. It never does it for me on PC. I don't know why. And I have my homepage turned off, so that was a waste of time. But essentially, like if I click over a video, maybe it'll do it here. No, it won't do it here. But if I hover over it, it'll autoplay. And when it autoplays, if I have the subtitles, I can then read, because I don't have the sound off, because sound is off in autoplay in some cases, depending on like the content modality you're consuming, whether it be like mobile, TV, etc. And if I know there's subtitles, then I know if I see the thumbnail and I like the title and I click on it and I see the subtitles that tells me exactly what's going on, it can be another element of intrigue. And that was reflecting higher CTR and higher watch time for certain creators that were doing it. Now they have like the auto captions one, which is like good enough and makes it like redundant. But that is one of the things that we know works quite well. So those are the things where you can steal from YouTubers, and you can have this effect where, like, instead of you doing the 10,000 hours, you making the 1,000 videos, you getting absolutely nowhere, you can just figure out who is the biggest guy in my space, or who are the 3 biggest guys in my niche? What are all the things that they're doing in common with each other, right? So I'd figure out, like, let's say if I was in, let's just say the entertainment niche, let's just say Mr. Beast, Brian Trahan, Eric, Hang Time, I'll go with, like, Matthew Beam, etc., like, all those guys that are in the entertainment space, or, like, Beast adjacent space. I'd figure out what are all those guys doing consistently that will make the most amount of sense for me. And maybe it's, like, going to be harder to optimize, but, like, you could figure out, okay, what are the 5 guys ahead of me doing? Like, they're my direct competitors that are ahead of me doing that I'm not doing. From there, you can be like, oh, they're doing this. Like, they're all doing this in common. If they're all doing this in common, then I should also do this, which again won't make you necessarily stand out. But if it's going to, let's say, lower your volatility in views, and it's going to help you boost your knowledge of YouTube faster, that is a win, because it saves you time of actually doing it. Essentially, you're paying for a mentor. And instead of paying actual money to get taught the actual lesson, you're paying with your time, and you're making hypotheses and bets on what's going on based on the information you have available to you. This is the same thing I've done for years. For years. That's what I did when I started first working at this little company called Astralis R6, back when it was known as Disrupt Gaming. I had fucking no idea what I was doing. But because I watched so much fucking content on YouTube, like a gross amount, I had like no social life in high school. I just watched content and played video games. I figured out, oh, if I put text at the top of the thumbnail, it makes more sense because you read left to right, top to bottom in English-speaking markets, and we're trying to approach an English-speaking market. Okay, cool, I know that. And then if I'm showing a transformation, well, all the videos that have transformations going from one thing to another thing, or learning X skill, the things that make the most sense are split screens. We can actually show the transformation in the thumbnail, so when the viewer clicks on it, they get immediately satisfied, or because they can clearly see the value that you're potentially providing to them, which is why these videos did so well. So I can figure that out without even doing it. Like, without even doing it, I can just like look at my competition, like, what is this video, right? What is my competition? What are they doing? Why am I not doing that? And what are things that I'm doing that they're not doing that is actually yielding me results? Or inverse, what are things that I'm doing that are not yielding me results that I can cut from my process and potentially streamline things? So One of the things I thought I'd talk about, effectively, you can steal from YouTubers in terms of their knowledge and what they know about YouTube through figuring out what they do and what they optimize versus what you don't optimize. And from there, you can win the game of YouTube. It's one of the ways that you can level up incredibly fast. And another way you can level up incredibly fast is working with me directly one-on-one. If you want to work with me, DM me on Twitter at @vexing_. My prices start at $1,500 a month, and that will include some stuff. We can talk about it. Mainly focusing on working with YouTubers over 100,000 subscribers and scaling them to 1 million subscribers, and people that are making roughly $5,000 a month from AdSense and scaling that to $10,000 to $20,000 to $50,000 to $100,000 a month in AdSense, which is something I've done with clients in the past. So that being said, it's been me. It's been real. I hope this is helpful. I hope this will help you level up on your journey on YouTube. And if it does, helpful, that's cool. If not, all good. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.